Hi, today we're going to discuss how to prepare for CAT starting from June. Firstly, let's answer the question, can you ace the CAT if you start preparing from June? The answer is a resounding yes, you absolutely can. Today I've highlighted a three-pronged process that you can follow in order to ace the CAT. Let's get started. Okay, so it is a three-phase plan. So what is the first phase? I call it starting from the basics. So in order to actually ace any exam, you need to build from the fundamentals. CAT has three main sections which can be simplified into math, English and logic. Assuming that you're an aspirant who hasn't given this attempt before, or even you're a returning aspirant who has given this exam before, it is extremely vital to start from the beginning so that you're not missing out on any core important concepts that will help you later on in your preparation. So how do you do that? Let's start with quantitative aptitude. So we have a really great video that talks about how you can ace the quantitative aptitude section, which we'll link in this part. You can definitely have a look at that after this video. But to begin with, say you're starting with a topic called like percentages or averages. When you're starting with a particular topic, the best idea forward is to stick to that topic, do everything, understand the entire concept. Don't switch from one topic to another without covering the basics in the previous topic. And definitely don't make it seem like you want to just head start jump into taking, solving the advanced problems. So definitely start from the basics, build from there, and give each topic the time that it deserves to actually settle into you and like you can understand the topic and what it's talking about. So that's how you actually start with quantitative aptitude. Next, when it comes to the verbal ability and reading comprehension section, which is intimidating to a lot of people, it doesn't have to be so. So in order to actually ace this section, you need to start by building a reading habit. Why is this important? Because if you don't build a reading habit, you'll find it extremely fatiguing during the exam to actually even understand the reading comprehensions and the passages that you have to go through. So how do you do this? Start by reading 1 hour a day. It's extremely actionable. 1 hour is not a long time. Start by reading articles, start by reading small short stories, start by reading books. Whatever works for you, just begin by building a reading habit. Don't spend a lot of time trying to memorize vocabulary and don't spend a lot of time looking into speed reading and other hacks. Just straight good old reading. Do that for a while and you'll actually build your reading speed organically. This will also go a long way in actually building the stamina to attempting the section in the actual CAT. When it comes to data interpretation and logical reasoning, this is one of the sections which requires extensive practice from your end. So how do you build the basics for this? So a lot of the concepts that are tested in data interpretation include averages, percentages, and a lot of important quant concepts. So you're already getting that covered. What more can you do is to solve puzzles whenever you're having any free time while you're traveling in your commute or when you have about 10 minutes in your lunch break. Start solving a few puzzles, whether it is Wordle or 2048. Any puzzle that actually makes sense to you, definitely start solving those puzzles. And you can also look at a few different types of graphs, charts, tables, and how data is organized in these tables so that you can get used to looking at data without being overwhelmed by it. So this was the basics. What is the second step? The second step is the drill. Right? So this is the part where you actually have to put in a lot of effort and solve tons of questions. Because in this section, this is where, all the basics and the theories that you've learned come into practice. It will be a bit challenging initially, but the idea here is to keep going forward, to keep practicing tons of questions, because this is what will give you an idea of what you can expect in the exam. It will give you exposure to different kinds of questions. It will give you ways to solve the problem that you might not have thought of before. And more importantly, it will also give you a lot of, exercise. It will give you a lot of ideas on how to solve the various problems. So definitely start going for the drills, start doing a lot of questions, and this is across the three sections, right? You don't need to do it only for one section, do it across the three sections consistently. And this is a stage where a lot of aspirants lose motivation because they feel like, okay, I've studied this topic and then I go answer these questions, I'm not able to do it. They jump to the next topic immediately and they try to solve that. So once again, as I mentioned before, don't jump from topic to topic aimlessly. Have a structured and disciplined method to this. There is a way to solve these questions, so definitely look it up, learn each question. If there's a new method, try to master it and then try to ace a particular topic and then go to the next topic. Otherwise, you'll just end up having a haphazard preparation process. So after the drill, we are in the final stage of the CAT prep, and this is obviously to take a ton of mocks. So how do you do this? If it was January or even earlier, I would probably say you can spend a few months building your fundamentals and then drills and then mocks. But that's not how it's going to work right now, because you only have from June to November, and it's extremely achievable, but you need to have a proper process in place, right? So what you have to do is, while you're building the basics, while you're completing a few topics, you've solved a bunch of questions, immediately start taking mocks. Don't wait to become familiar with multiple topics before you even attempt a mock. This is not actually going to serve the purpose. The purpose of mocks is not for you to get 99 percentile every time you write them. The purpose of mocks is to actually learn where your strengths lie, where your weaknesses lie, and where you're making the mistakes. So as in when you learn the basics and solve tons of problems, simultaneously solve mocks as well. So the idea of this three-pronged approach is that you do everything together. You do not actually just wait for a few months, spend 3 months with the basics, spend 3 months on drills. So actually take the time and do these things, solve mocks as in when you finish a few topics, so that you get the habit of how it is to sit for the actual CAT, you get the stamina, you build the endurance of writing the exam. Now I just wanted to touch upon a few things that you shouldn't be doing. So when it comes to CAT, it is a marathon, right? It isn't a short sprint. It isn't something that you can just ace in a day and get through it. Since it is a marathon, it requires a lot of mental fortitude from you. And this has to come from you as the candidate, because external motivation is going to be very difficult to come by in any phase. So as a student, what do you need to do to stay motivated? First of all, stay away from thoughts like, okay, should I take a gap year? Should I just leave CAT 2022 and write 2023? There's only a few months to go. Definitely stay away from ideas like that. Because when you're actually attempting CAT 2022, the best way forward is to actually attempt it with complete dedication and discipline, so that you can actually ace even this. That is, for CAT, you require about 400 hours of preparation, and starting from June to November, you have ample amount of time to cover this, including the basics, the drill, and the mocks. So don't give up on yourself and don't say that, oh, I'm not going to do CAT 2022, I'll just wait for the next year. Don't do that. Give this year attempt as well, as seriously as you would for any other attempt. This will actually build your confidence. This will also give you a huge way forward, even if you want to attempt it in the future. Next, a lot of students actually think about, okay, my 10th grade scores, my 12th grade scores, and my UG scores are really low. What am I going to do? Like, writing CAT is going to be pointless anyway. Like, don't be in that thought process, because ultimately your scores are going to be static. They're not changing. Your 10th percentage isn't going to change, and your 12th percentage isn't going to change either. If you're a student who's currently in the final year of your UG, definitely ensure that you're actually trying to get good scores, because that will play a role. But in case you've already graduated, there's really no point in kind of contemplating and ruminating about those things. So what you need to do is to actually just focus on your CAT prep. There are a bunch of students, a large number of candidates every year who get into really top B schools by actually acing the CAT exam itself, even though they have lower scores in their UG and their 10th and 12th. So give yourself the chance that you deserve by actually preparing for CAT, and don't get bogged down by negative thoughts like that. Then finally we have there's not enough time, like the two aspects of it, there's not enough time and time to doom scroll and to binge watch. So what usually happens is when you're not prepared, you tend to procrastinate. You feel like, okay, this is June, I'm watching this video today, but maybe I'll start in July, I'll watch a similar video of how to prepare from July. Don't do that. Today, if you start, you have plenty of time to actually prepare for CAT, so don't spend time doom scrolling. Don't get so negative that you actually spend all your time on social media and you feel like, okay, I don't want to prepare right now. Actually given the time to prepare, and over time you yourself will grow more confident and more motivated to give the exam. So take that chance on yourself and prepare starting from today. All the best.